It looks like we're live. We're here with Joji Davenport. Today, we're going to talk about how to make cold, hard cash, buying low and selling high on Amazon FBA.
Oh
It's not
man.
as easy as that, but on the other hand, it is as easy as that.
Yes.
We were talking behind the camera with Joji. He just hit 100K in sales for the year, doing this as a complete side hustle. He has a full-time job, does this on the side. What were you saying your profit was?
Yeah, I think it's going to be my estimate's probably around 25K profit.
Dude, let's
So,
go.
um, yeah, I think I did the calculation. I think I have about like 50 or $60,000 of inventory waiting just waiting in the warehouse right now. So January
Yeah.
hopefully will be a big month for me. Um, so we'll see. But
Yeah, you've been preparing for that. So just to let the viewers know who don't know who you are and what you do, you work full time, but you do Amazon FBA as a side hustle, and you do online arbitrage with books, specifically like a lot of textbooks for textbook season. So you've
correct.
been preparing for January for quite a while.
For sure, man.
Yeah, you. So yeah, can you kind of run us through a little bit of the strategy of that? Like you
Yeah, for
have
sure.
$50,000 to $60,000 worth of inventory, like at the warehouse waiting for textbook season. Like, I feel like I totally get that, but the average viewer is like, what the, what?
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
know?
know what you mean. I guess I'd just start off by saying that a- for books, like if you don't know, textbooks generally sell. There's like usually 2 months out of the year, January and August, where they sell super high sales velocity. And some textbooks, if they have really great ranks, can also have like a mini textbook season, maybe like May or March. So it just depends on the book. But basically, for those you don't know, most students go back to school in January and August, like they're on the semester system. So it just means that there's probably like 5x the number of buyers during those 2 times during the month. So it's not necessarily like the books that I'm buying would only sell during those months. It's just that if there's 5 times the number of people looking on the marketplace, like there's just going to be more inventory that sells. So I think that, just being consistent, buying stuff every single day and adding books to your inventory, if you buy 5 books a day or 10 books a day, like eventually you're going to start stockpiling where it's like you have these books that maybe you've been sitting there for a little while, but then the textbook season comes out and then it's like you have this huge like floodgate just open and you sell a whole bunch during those 2 months. So hope that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
don't I don't know if you guys have seen the Keepa graphs on some of these textbooks, but if you're familiar with how a Keepa graph works, basically there's the sales rank, which is the green line, and then there's the price that you're tracking. And with a lot of these textbooks, you'll see a pattern over the last um, 2, 3, 4, 5 textbook seasons, January or August, September, of the sales rank going down, 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 and the price going up, 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 like massively. So that's just a cool, exciting opportunity to make some cold, hard
So
cash.
cold hard cash. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm all interested in use that. So I mean, obviously, I know you do mostly like electronics and stuff, but I know you've dabbled in books a little bit, right? That's how you got started. Um, but do you ever like just look at the book category every once in a while? Even though I know that's not like your main thing.
Yeah, there's a couple replen type book items that I send in every once in a while. Oh, we got Kilgreen in the chat. What's up? Funny story. So, um, I'll be like somewhat vague for it, Andrew, but basically, Kilgreen is another Amazon seller who I've seen on like a ton of listings that I sell on, or we could say that I sell on his listings, whatever you want to say. But basically, I was selling one of these items on eBay just as a liquidation, just because like it didn't work or something,
Hmm.
and the item was like purchased 10 seconds, gone. And I
Okay,
saw the eBay store name was Kilgreen, and I'm like, oh, there he is.
there he is, man. Oh wow.
Let's chat him up and learn from each other, you know. So we talked for like 3 hours and good friends now. But yeah, that was a bunch of fun. Um,
That's awesome.
um, but yeah, I mean, speaking of like those types of products, I would prefer products that I could sell within a month.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
just for cash flow. That's what I prefer. Um, but like there's some massive opportunities with books as well. Like the books you can oftentimes get higher ROIs, and so it's less work. Even though you're letting your money sit for longer, it very well could be less work. We got Andrew Kilgreen in the chat. Love the channel, awesome stuff. I appreciate that. You got my boy Joji on this stream. What up? Good
What's
to
up,
see
man?
you. Boulevard.
How's it going?
Is that how you say it? I don't know. We got Christiana downstairs. Let's go. I appreciate you. I'm looking down at you. Wait, are you even there? Hello? My wife.
Wait, so I don't know. Is Christiana, is that your who is that?
Christiana's my wife. Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. Let's go, Christiana.
Exactly. Right. She's the best supporter. She loves me to death. So I appreciate her.
That's awesome. First win, all caps, let's go, exclamation point. Can't get better than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, man. Like when it comes to selling stuff, my model's super slow, right? Because I do textbooks. I don't only do textbooks. I also do just high dollar books in general. Like I don't mind selling books that are not textbooks. It's just kind of like the book that I want to be selling ideally would sell for like above $75. And I have some books that sell as low as like 40 or 50, but generally I'm trying to shoot for like 75 or higher. So there's a lot of books out there that are collectible. And so I'll do a lot of like collectible books as well. But yeah, I understand what you mean. It's definitely a much slower cash turn, but kind of what makes up for that a little bit is that, the ROI tends to be a lot higher, but it's kind of like, is apples and oranges. Like what's better? You much lower ROI, but you turn it 4 times in the time that you get this one thing that you flip, and it takes a longer time. So just kind of what I've been up to. So,
I'm totally with you on the high ASP items. Andrew would know. We both love our $200-$300 ASPs. Those are ideal because probably I'm assuming in your case you're not buying multiple quantities of the same item most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Like sometimes I'm buying multiple quantities, but each purchase is oftentimes one item. Mm-hmm. And so like for my unit of time, like finding the item, making sure that it's like gonna actually work price wise, making sure that the item, like in the pictures, it's not broken. It's gonna like be a good thing to send in. Like if you're doing $40 items, it's like, well, cool. I spent time doing this whole process, listing it, keeping track of it, bookkeeping everything, selling it, repricing it, all for like $8. And it's like, that sounds great. Because it's just like, oh, you just buy the thing and you sell it for high. But like if it's $75, $85, $100, like suddenly you're making 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. And even more when it's a higher price, which I love. Yeah,
for sure. What is your ASP right now? Do you know, like off the ballpark?
I could look. I think my ASP for the year is a lot different than my ASP for the month because the trade-off here is, in my experience with higher ASP items, you'll also get a higher return rate. Mm-hmm. And that leads to sometimes there being customer issues. And so for me in my situation, it's good to also have some lower ASP bulk fast moving items that customers are just happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the year, year to date, it's 675K in sales.
Okay.
And
675. Let's go.
Units 4772.
4,700. Man,
no, not 40,000.
No, 4,700, right? 4,700.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's do the math there. 144.
Yeah, 144. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think mine right now is like 102. I think is what mine.
I mean, like, yeah, that's a high ASP. You probably sell some like $300-$400 books every once in a while too, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think my best flip this year was a Facebook Marketplace deal. I got I think it's like 15 welding books for $50, and one of the books sold for like $549. And
my gosh.
Yeah, that one deal alone made like $1,000. So I think that's my best flip. I think I'm gonna make a video about that before the end of the year. But
you should, yeah. Like my best flip of 2022.
Yeah. And generally I talk mostly about like Keepa sourcing, but I do a little bit like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp sourcing as well. That I don't necessarily talk about too much because I think I don't know my audience would be super interested in it because it definitely takes a lot more. Like there's a lot more goes into sourcing that way because generally when you source off of eBay or on Amazon, there's no interaction with the customer.
Yeah.
But Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, you have this unique opportunity where you have people who have no idea what the thing's worth that they're trying to sell. But the issue and the problem that you have to solve is how do you communicate to the person that you want them to ship the item to you, but do that in a way that's efficient, that doesn't take a long time, where you don't get scammed. You know what I mean? So maybe people would like that, but I don't know. I just thought people would think it's too much work or something to.
I mean, if you can help people deal with that problem, because that's definitely how I feel about Facebook Marketplace. Like I've purchased stuff from Facebook Marketplace and it's like anytime I make a purchase on Facebook Marketplace, I'm like, I have like a piece of paper with the transactions that I've done. And I'm like, I need to check on these in a week
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they probably won't ship my item.
They probably won't. They'll probably just take my item. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I do things a little bit more riskier as well, where I'll actually buy things from people who don't even have shipping enabled. So like try to convince them to ship you an item, and then going through the process of like not just trying to get them to make a list, like a shipping listing so that they can ship it to you, but like actually just like Venmoing them money and like here's a shipping label, like, and telling them exactly what to do. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'd be an interesting video. We'll see.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. And like obviously not too many people are doing that. So there's probably some opportunity there if you can do it right. You know what I mean?
Sure.
What do you do if they're just like, nah, I'm not shipping this? You just like try and cancel your order and then like maybe you get your refund, maybe you don't.
Yeah, here's the biggest issue is like number one issue is that actually that they don't ship it properly. And if they don't ship it properly, then like meaning you pay for USPS media mail because it's a book, and then they send it in a priority mail box, and you're like, oh, okay. So then you get a little notice like from USPS that says like, hey, come to the post office and pay us an extra $20 for like a fee, and then also for like priority mail shipping. So that's like the number one issue. And then the second issue is, they'll just package it so poorly. Like they'll take a 14 by 14 by 12 like Home Depot box and put like 2 books in it, thinking like that's with no packing, like no nothing, and then it gets lost or it gets destroyed or something like that. So I've developed things, like I've learned things over many months and years of doing it, where I feel like it's now definitely I'm to the point where like I can basically solve all those problems, like those issues now, but it's definitely a process. Like it's not, the deals are great, but you have to work to get them. That makes sense.
Yeah, there's definitely some problems there, but like honestly, most business models that work have like some little like weird thing to it that like most people don't want to do, but like you've found out how to do it effectively enough that it's really profitable for you and other people aren't doing it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I
like
agree.
a lot of people don't want to sell used on Amazon.
Yeah.
But like it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy out there, the opportunity. I mean, we sell in completely different niches, and of course you're doing way more than I am, but it just shows you that there's opportunity everywhere. You just have to want it enough, and you have to learn, as you go. So I'm sure both of us have paid some pretty pricey lessons, but that's the price of being, getting to where you're at now. So
yeah, and I mean, like I do this as my main source of income, so I have a lot of attention on this. So
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how many days or so you work every day?
Probably a little bit every day.
Every day. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how much time would you say you devote to sourcing and then the back end stuff, like the repricing, the return, stuff like that?
Yeah, so actually, I mean, I would say Amazon's my full-time job, but I usually don't spend more than 20 hours a week on it. But probably sourcing is like people think about like sourcing like it's the main thing that you do in your business, but I kind of feel like it's probably around maybe a third of my time is sourcing potentially. There's a lot of like how do I say it? Like repricing takes time. Like keeping track of like metrics for my business takes time. That I haven't developed systems to just like have a VA do it. I get returns a lot, so I have to reship those out. Let's see what else. I don't know. Like, I
Do you
haven't,
do all your prepping right now, or you have a prep center?
I have a prep center,
Your prep
but
center.
like still like, for example, like some of those bulk items, I'm doing the prep myself because they're like $1, $2 profit each. And
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
like, I'll just eat into all my profits if
Yeah,
I,
yeah, I got you, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like sometimes I'm like learning something to try and make something more efficient, and that takes time.
Yeah.
How much time would you say that you devote to it?
Um, I would say that now it's a little bit less, but for a couple of reasons. One is I finally hired some VAs, but I also, I just had a baby 3 months ago, so
Yeah.
it's been much harder to do any sort of work now. I would say, before the baby, I was probably doing like 25 hours a week. I'd probably do maybe like 2 to 3 hours a night after I'd come home from work.
Hmm.
'Cause I have a not technically a 9 to 5. It's like a 6 to 3 job because I'm a teacher, but it's kind of
Yeah.
equivalent to the same time period. So then, yeah, I'd probably work like maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. So it's probably about like 25 hours. Now it's like if I can get an hour in a day, 2 hours in a day, that's pretty good. What I'm really trying to focus on is growing YouTube because I see definitely, helping people, coaching people could lead to opportunities, which I already has, which is pretty awesome. Like I think I told Cody this, but I remember when I was starting to make videos, it's like, all right, who's in the space? Like, who's on YouTube right now? I was like, dude, this is Checkmate Flips guy. I'm like, okay, how long
That's
is it
kind
gonna take for me to be able to like be on his stream to talk to him? Like, it's probably like at least a year. How long is it gonna take me to talk to like Steve or Echo Flips? Anyways, it's been cool, like the opportunity that's already produced, and so yeah, I definitely see YouTube as a way to just to grow, not necessarily to like monetize the people who come watch your channel and like sell them, but more so just like the people who you meet, like the opportunities that it expands for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I like definitely. And you're already in this space where like if you just like swipe up on someone's story and like start a conversation with them, like you can help them out, they can help you out. Like
Exactly.
you're kind of past the point of just being a random like person who like you're obviously like you're putting out a ton of content, but like a lot of people don't put out any content at all, and so like they can't just ask some random person a question
Yeah.
because they don't even have a box picture up on
Yeah. No,
Instagram, you know.
yeah. And it's amazing. I mean, I'm such a small YouTuber. I got, I think like three,
Dude,
like,
it like really compounds fast. Like
yeah.
you're like right on the brink of it. Like I
Yeah.
think even a month ago, I think you had like 300 subscribers. You have like nearly 400 now.
Yeah. I think my goal by the end of the year was to try to get 200 by December 31st. No,
Dude, you
so it
crushed
definitely
it.
has gone beyond my expectations, which is great. But yeah, I mean, just meeting you, meeting Cody, meeting Steve, like, yeah, it's crazy what just posting a couple times on a platform can do, and super appreciative for that. And I try to provide as much value as I can, but I'm also trying to like make videos better as I improve. But there's, I don't know.
It's literally Amazon, but another thing.
Yeah, exactly,
Like
exactly.
you can't just like get to a point where you're like amazing, perfect at it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you and I look at Steve and we're like, oh my gosh, like marketing, like
he's,
crazy, like
he's a
nuts,
marketing god.
like why can't I just be like that? But like he's been getting 1% better for like the last 9 years.
Yeah, and if you
Like
get
we
one
forget.
percent better a day, I mean, you know, you're gonna it's gonna be crazy.
We got Boulevard Pooch saying, "This is wild. You two are the main people I watch for Amazon amazing info. I appreciate both of you for the insane value you guys give to us, dude. I appreciate that.
I
Thank you,
appreciate that a
Boulevard
lot, man.
Pooch. Thank you
People
for
like
coming to
you
the
who
stream.
watch,
Appreciate you.
people like you who watch and make it worth it. So I appreciate it, man. And yeah, feel free to throw your name in the chat if you want to. So unless you want to go by Pooch, what's up, Pooch?
We'll
That's how
just
you
keep
want to.
calling you Pooch. All
Yeah,
right, Boulevard Pooch. What do you
Boulevard
sell?
Pooch.
What like type of things do you like? Do a lot of apparel? Do you do grocery? Do you use books, electronics?
He's got to
Like
do. He's got to be in the pet and
the
supplies.
pet.
With that name.
Dude, he's just like chugging Purina like units. Dude, anytime I've tried to sell like cat food several times.
Uh-huh.
And like anytime like I find like this great listing, it's like people are out of stock like up to 20, $30, and then just Amazon comes in stock $10.
Oh,
Like GG.
Amazon.
Like
Yeah. for sure. Amazon, yeah, they control everything when they come on a. I mean, one of the sourcing strategies that is kind of a little like that I talk about a little bit that is more risky is um, buying books that go out of stock that Amazon basically that are super popular that Amazon sells and they go out of stock. And if you look at the Keepa graph, like you can see in the historical past when Amazon's gone out of stock, and you see basically like this book double, triple, quadruple the retail value. And so, there's an opportunity for buying new books and selling them used when they go out of stock. But when Amazon comes back on the listing, like you're done.
Wait, so Amazon sells the item as new, but then you sell it as used?
Yeah, meaning there are some sets, like a lot of, I think, manga sets, just books that are very popular that will go out of stock. And if you look at the Keepa chart, like the used price and the third party new price, if there is anyone even selling it new and third party, like will double, triple, quadruple, or 5x like the retail price. And so like there are these periods in this graph where it's like, okay, sales rank is amazing when Amazon's in stock for $29.99. And then all of a sudden, in these 3 instances in the last 5 years, when they've gone out of stock for 3 months, the price of this thing went from $39.99 to like selling used for like $150 or something. And so that it's like an opportunity for you to maybe source when Amazon comes back in stock. But the issue is if you buy some copies from Amazon and you're trying to hold on to them and sell them when Amazon goes out of stock, and you list them on Amazon, but then Amazon comes back in stock, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can get screwed that way. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. What I was saying is if Amazon, like if you're buying like from the person Amazon, like not a third party seller, and you're buying them as new, you could list it as new.
Yeah.
You would have the receipt. Like Amazon's an authorized distributor.
Are they though?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they are, but I don't know. Even me, like I'm so risk adverse that even if I bought it from Amazon new, like I wouldn't sell it new. I would sell it used. But that's just my own risk tolerance. But
yeah, that makes sense.
But is that true? Because I mean, they don't really give you an invoice though. They just give you. I mean, it just shows up in your orders, right?
Unless maybe you'll have the receipt though.
The receipt.
So basically, what I'm saying is, if you get an IP claim, you would upload that receipt.
What is Amazon gonna say? Amazon gonna say you're the one selling counterfeits, not me. Or
like, bro, I bought it from you.
I bought it from you.
F off.
Oh man. And then classic customer support. There's nothing we can do about it. That's what they're gonna be. Okay, so Pooch, his name is Jason. Started with eBay selling my old PS4, Xbox games. Now I'm trying to get the books, CDs, and some DVDs from all. My goal is to get beauty and grocery at some point. Baby steps, man.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
We got Andrew in the chat selling live crickets. Ooh. That is an intriguing business model.
that better be overnight, right? Overnight shipping on that one?
Dude, I could go for selling some like live mice for snake food or something.
You know what? I'm pretty sure I did see a YouTube video of, I think it was like a pond bill or someone was buying fish from Amazon, and they literally would get overnighted from a third party seller. So
interesting.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Let's check Amazon and see if we can find some good deals.
Some good deals. Let's do it.
All right. Let's we can do some fish sourcing.
Some fish.
All right. What's a common type of fish?
Like type in shiner, like a shiner.
Shiner.
Mm-hmm.
Fish.
1,000 quantity. 1,000 count. Are you actually finding stuff?
I didn't share the screen. My bad.
Yeah. I want to see. I
typed it so weirdly. Shiner fish live.
Yeah.
Well, look at this lively Keepa.
Is it live? Let's see. Oh man. Wow. Wait. The Keepa. I mean, sales rank was dropping.
Let's look at the offers tab. People getting sales. 2 whole sales in the last 30 days from Toledo Goldfish.
Toledo Goldfish.
Bro, let's check this guy out.
Yeah.
What's he up to? 250 rating.
10K orders in the past 12 months. Oh man.
Dude, he's pushing some volume.
Oh, I think we found a new business model.
How I make 15 grand a month selling goldfish on Amazon FBA.
Yeah. I bet you there's a YouTube video out there, man. That's insane though.
Let's see. Let's type that into. Oh, there's my live stream. Wow.
There's your live stream. There we go.
How
I love it.
to make $35,000 profit a month selling
fish.
live fish on Amazon FBA.
Man.
You get to see my YouTube feed.
Yeah.
World Cup soccer and old school RuneScape.
Old school RuneScape, man. Dude, you better be doing some merching there too.
I am. It's true. I like my my flips. All right, we got Fields. I don't think Fields of Profit is selling goldfish.
No. He could fish arbitrage, yeah.
Fish arbitrage. Buy from local ponds, sell on Amazon FBA.
That's
Wait, so like you don't what if you don't have a receipt for your fish? Can you get a counterfeit claim on it?
You get a counterfeit claim. This fish is not real. This is a fake fish.
How to sell fish online, breeding for profit.
Oh, 30. I mean, he's got more views than me, so
dude.
I mean, he knows what he's doing.
54,000 subscribers. Yeah, he's the only video about fish.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you that you can make money literally doing anything, right? It's like,
dude, this guy like cranks videos. Project Life Mastery. Anyways, that's enough about fish.
Yeah, I know we're going off a tangent, but
big market. Fish arbitrage. Sure. Dude, okay, let's do some eBay to Amazon fish arbitrage.
Fish arbitrage. Oh my gosh. Can you I would Andrew, honestly, I think you could probably buy live crickets on Amazon. They'd probably be overnighted. That'd be my guess.
Dude, look at the sales rank.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I'm telling you,
people are getting IP claims on this. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I guess this
or that brand.
Yeah, I guess it has to come from a specific place.
Requires.
I mean, if you think about it, if you start a fish business, I mean, you would want to piggyback off this listing, right? I can't imagine the person who spent the time making this listing is happy about that.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, this Keepa shows you're gonna get slaughtered if you come on this listing.
Yeah, but that sales rank is pretty insane. What's the shipping? Is it shipping overnight? What does it say? Is it overnight shipping?
December 27th.
No, definitely not overnight.
Dude, they're all gonna be dead by the time you get them.
Honestly, maybe it's just a numbers game. Maybe how much? What's the quantity that you have to buy? Maybe they like double the quantity when they send it to you, like just knowing that it's a 10 count. So maybe they send you 20, just knowing like 10 are not gonna live by the time they get there.
It's a 10 count fish, so you get 10 fish.
Yeah. I want to know. I want to know if in the reviews anyone's ever complained about their fish being 3 inches. You know, if it's
pretty good reviews.
Yeah, pretty good.
Let's look at the reviews. I mean, this is a private label product.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see the cringe. Please take precautions when getting any fish from this company. The fish were beautiful. I was excited to get them. I received 30 fish and put them in all 3 different tanks, waiting for spring to put them in my pond with my other koi I've had for 20 years. Koi are very hardy, but when the first tank had 3 fish die, treated all the tanks with meds. All right, that's enough.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we got down this tangent, but I'm loving it, man. I'm loving this game.
Arrived all alive, but now half are dead, and the last are in a coma, very lethargic, very poor quantity. The colors are very poor. I'm not sure if these are even koi or goldfish. What a waste of money. Counterfeit claim sent.
Counterfeit claim. Yeah, I mean, sad as it seems, they probably do. They might have to deal with one or one. I don't know how they deal with that invoice. Like, I'm the one who made them, you know.
Well, I mean, I guess this one is a private label, so they're safe. But like if you're competing with other sellers.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Bro, ASIN may arrive after Christmas. They must keep well. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Pooch, definitely baby steps. Like, yeah, just keep getting better and better and better. And like, it's hard to just like immediately expand into another category. But I mean, you started with old PS4 games on eBay and then trying to sell books and CDs and DVDs and maybe video games next. And then eventually you could probably get auto ungated in beauty and grocery. But if you want to manually do it, you can use Frontier Co-op. That works for grocery for sure.
Yeah.
pretty easy to do. Just message me or Joji on Instagram, and we can help you out.
Help you out,
If
man.
you ever are actually wanting to get that done.
For sure, man. Let's see what else we got. So books. The other way, I mean, basically the major way I source those, I mean, probably 50% is Amazon to Amazon flips, just using Keepa. I know there's a lot of, I'm not sure if you're familiar with a lot of the book sourcing softwares. There's like eFlip, there's Master Book
Yeah.
Flippers, there's Zen Arbitrage. None of them, honestly, I found to have great success with. But Keepa, man, Keepa sourcing is insane. I saw your video today that you posted that I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but you're using the product finder, right? Your 0 to 20K challenge.
Yeah. I was using the product finder, and I basically entered, I think in that video, I was looking at like cheaper on eBay, more expensive on Amazon, and I kind of filtered that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah, there's for sure. Product finder is definitely a way that I find a lot of my books. Also, do you use the? I know that you and Cody looked at the deals tab a couple days ago, but that's also a great way to find books. And then the track product feature. Do you use the track product feature at all for any?
No, I haven't. I feel like it probably would work well, but I guess I haven't like felt strongly enough to like get it. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would say, go for it.
Kind of like there's just a bunch of products to be on the lookout for already, right. And so yeah, I just feel like I needed to spend more money, basically.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm gonna.
Sounds good. Yeah. Andrew says, "Can you actually buy live crickets on Amazon?" Let's check, because why not? Let's see here. Live crickets for reptiles. 1,000 crickets for leopard geckos. All right. Let's see if we can find some competitive listings. We got a bunch of sponsored live crickets 50 count. I want to find one that's like it's a competitive marketplace that like people are selling these and like competing against each other. I mean, this is 10 pounds of dried mealworms. Pitcom mealworms. That's their store. This looks like private label. Yeah, this is definitely private label. Interesting.
All right, thanks. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Yeah. You're just doing some live cricket sourcing, so.
Yeah, Andrew was like, "Can you actually buy live crickets on Amazon?"
Yeah, you totally can.
Yeah, definitely.
That's their game plan. They want to sell everything, right?
I wasn't able, in the 53 seconds that I was sourcing live crickets, I didn't find any cricket listings that you can arbitrage, but they're all private label.
It's all private label, yeah. But I guess there's that opportunity if you ever wanted a cricket business or a fish bet, you'd have to do it. You'd have to private label it, but I guess that's there.
Exactly. Crazy. We got Pooch in the chat. I appreciate that. I'll be sure to message you guys. I normally just lurk when you both stream, but both of you streaming together, I had to say something. Dude, you should just be active in the chat and hang out with us more. Like, thank you for coming. Appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. For sure.
Do you guys do coaching? Name the price. I'm here for it. I appreciate that.
That's awesome. That's cool.
I mean, ask us questions. Like, we don't have to do like a coaching session. But if you want like really specific help, like I'm definitely down for it as well. Feel free to message me on Instagram. And I think Joji does coaching as well. So
same. Yeah, for sure, man. Feel free to message me and I'll help out as much as I can. For sure. Okay, so
you use FlipMine, Joji?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. You do?
Yeah, I use it. I'd say maybe it's about like, it's becoming less of my business now. I'd say it's probably about like 15 to 20% of my business now. But yeah, definitely some of the FlipMine deals are insane.
So your main thing is tracking items, and you kind of like find a criteria where you feel like, yeah, this could really go down to this price in the next year or so, and then I'll just get an email about it.
Yeah, I mean, I
and
guess,
then you buy those.
yeah, I would say that if I were to buy, let's say if I were to buy like 5 books a day on average, I mean, it's probably a little bit more than that. It's probably like 7 books a day on average. I'd say maybe 2 of them come from the track product feature. So it's literally just getting email notifications going like, hey, if you look at the Keep It chart, this book is wildly undervalued right now. Just buy it and sell for what its real value is, and you'll make money. So that's probably like 2 out of 7. I'd say maybe 1 or 2 come from eBay using FlipMine. Buy a book that's historically sells for $100 on Amazon and it's right now on eBay for 35. Like, pick it up, flip it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And then I'd say maybe like 2 come from OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Again, same thing. You're buying super undervalued books. Like, here's a book that's worth 80. Here's a book worth 60, and this person wants $10 each. Like, let's go, man. I'll send you a shipping label. And then maybe the last 2 come from like using the deals page or the product finder tool. So definitely every day buying from all those different sources. But the name of the game, at least for me, is buy undervalued stuff and sell for what it's worth. Like, that's what arbitrage is, right? And that's what we used to do, and we did retail arbitrage and a lot of stuff, man. Is you'd buy it for below what it's worth and sell for what it's worth, and you make money.
Exactly. That's the safest way to do it. You can do it riskier with buying it for what it's worth and selling it for above what it's worth. You can do that sometimes, but
for sure,
that's definitely the riskier game. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue that I had using eFlip and using master book flippers. And I haven't actually tried Zen arbitrage, so I want to try them out. But basically, the business model, or at least my intention of what that business model was 1, to exploit the prime gap, and then 2, to exploit textbook season, which are things that you can do. But if that's the center of your business model and you're a bookseller, I just from experience doing it, just found that there's a lot of books that it didn't work out. And so ultimately, what I've gone back to is try to buy a book that's undervalued, sell it for what it's worth at the minimum, and if you can try to stack like the textbook seasonality or try to stack the prime gap, then that's when things get juicy, right? But it's like, think of the meat of the burgers. Like, you got to buy the book undervalued, and then the lettuce and the tomato and the bacon's like prime bump. It's the textbook season trying to try to maximize profit. So
I like myself a good dry hamburger.
Oh man.
But
oh gosh.
But yeah, it fills you up, and
yeah,
it does.
I guess it could get the job done for sure. But yeah, I'm not sure if you know, but I've been in I'm in Steve's classes, eBay to Amazon class. I've been doing a little bit of coaching with like using FlipMine for books, and I found like the number one issue that I needed to like help people solve is just their understanding of Keepa. Like, it's like the $1 million skill, man. It's like, if you don't understand Keepa and how to read a Keepa graph, it's so hard to be, to run a profitable business, because someone even asked in the Facebook group today, like, what's the number one software? I'm like, Keepa. Like, Keepa's Mount Everest. Everything else is sea level. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, SellerAmp, like, yeah, it's okay. It's, there are definitely things that are nice about it, but you could substitute with other things. But there is like no substitution for Keepa. Like, to know what the thing sells for, how often it sells for, what you can expect to sell it at. And kind of what I try to do is, because a lot of them are eBay sellers in that group, I'm like, imagine you try to buy things to sell on eBay and you could not, like, you had no access to eBay sold or complete listings. Like, that would kind of be an analogy for it. And even my argument though is that Keepa is even way more valuable than looking at eBay sold comps. But the point is, like, that's what it's like.
So much easier to look at and actually know what it's going to sell for rather than the sold comps.
Right.
Because like, you could kind of like take a look at the sold comps, and it's like, you see the first couple, and if you don't scroll down, like, most people don't look at sold comps on eBay and like recognize trends going on. Like, for example, there was a product that both Andrew and I were selling, that the sold comps was not the best price that sellers could get for the item. They should be selling it for more. And so if they looked more detailedly at the sold comps and looked at the most recent ones, they would see one thing, but if they looked 3 months ago, the price was much, much cheaper. But Keepa, like, it gives you, like, you can see over time, like, what's been going on with the item, which is so valuable. Yeah.
So I think that is definitely the number one goal is, like, no matter what you're sourcing, It doesn't matter where you're sourcing. You have to master Keepa, and it takes repetitions. Like, I mean, I know obviously if you sold 4,700 items, you had thousands of repetitions. You probably have tens of thousands of repetitions. And it's kind of like that analogy people say, you put your 10,000 hours in, you become an expert at it. And it's like, you don't need to put that many hours into it to be able to read a Keepa chart. But the point is, like, if you've only ever read or looked at 50 Keepa graphs, like, there's so much you're missing. But if you looked at 1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 times, then you start to recognize little patterns, like Seth says. And those patterns is what is going to separate you from being an okay seller to actually selling things that will sell and make money.
And making some cold hard cash.
And cold hard cash, man.
Exactly.
Cold hard cash.
Exactly. We got Boulevard Pooch in the chat. Realistically, what would $500 starting capital look like flipping books and CDs from eBay to Amazon? I've done thrifting at Goodwill and Salvation Army, but my stores have absolutely nothing. I've invested in a scanner, scanned everything, and probably got 12 things from 5 stores. Number one, I would definitely say if you're going to do like books in person like that, I would give going to estate sales or doing free book pickups or some kind of bulk deal from OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace rather than thrift stores, because thrift stores, like kind of like you're saying, like especially if you go to like a Goodwill, like Goodwill are Amazon sellers. They have Amazon stores. So like I've literally seen this pattern. I've scanned a Goodwill, and the only accepts that I'm finding are the ones that have like huge prime gaps, because Goodwill, they merch fulfill and they're not selling things prime. Plus, like, it's also kind of the easiest place to go. And so anyone who does book sourcing and they're just like, yeah, whatever, like I need some books, I haven't planned anything, I'm just going to go to this Goodwill that's open. So like there's a high chance that a seller's been there before you, which just really sucks. Like I've been there a lot of times. You just scan 200-300 books and you're like, I found this one book that's like $4 profit, and it's only $4 profit because it's like prime bumped or something. So yeah, I would give the estate sales and like a little bit more exclusive type book sourcing a try. Do you have any thoughts, Joji? I kind of went around the question a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, I can really only speak mostly to books, Jason, Boulevard Pooch, but I would say that if you had $500, my number one goal would be to find high ASP, so high average selling price books that will sell very frequently. And the number one place you're going to find that is at a local college or local university. So what I would recommend is that if you live near a university or near a college, you can probably easily get in one of their Facebook groups that's like a textbook exchange group. And depending on how close you are to them, I would just sit in that Facebook that Facebook group all day, and as people list books, I would be looking at the Keepa graphs of those books and say, hey, I'll offer you $20 for this book. It should sell within a couple of weeks for $80. Like I would, if it were me, I would go to college.
Don't tell them that.
Wait, what?
Don't tell them that.
Yeah. No, don't tell them that for sure.
Hey, like I would like to buy your book. I think it's going to sell on Amazon for $80.
Can
I have $20 for you right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't tell them that. But with $500, you're definitely limited on. You want to say something? Go for it.
Finish your thought, and then I'll.
Oh, I think I have a bit more to add. So where are you gonna?
No, go for it.
Okay. So you only have like $500. Not only. I'm not gonna say only $500. Yeah, $500 to start. That's great news. That's a lot more than I had to start, and a lot more than a lot of people have to start. So $500 is, you want to put it to work, and meaning you want to put it into really good buys. You want to put it into books that are going to sell very frequently and are going to sell for a high dollar amount, so that you can start scaling it faster. So I would first look at universities that are in your area. I live in San Diego in California, so I went to a school called UC San Diego. That's where I got my master's degree. So while I was getting my master's degree, I was already on campus. I was in the textbook exchange group. I was in the free and for sale group, and I literally just on Facebook in those groups every day. I mean, I would just be scrolling. People would be posting books. I think I was doing like 5 to 10 book pickups a day. And these are books that are selling frequently because they're actually students on campus who have them and are selling them. So you know that if you pick them up, most of them are going to have ranks sub 500K. And a lot of them are going to be books that are selling 60, 70, 80, 100 plus. Like Seth was saying about thrift stores, what you're not seeing at Goodwill is all the scanners behind the scenes who are scanning the books like you are, just where you can't see them. And then they're saying, here are all the books that you don't want. And they're putting them out on the floor. And also, like Seth said, I think if you use Keepa to look at like the top 20 sellers, I'm pretty sure like 5 of them are thrift stores and Goodwill book accounts, like specifically for books. So, I mean, they're Goodwill, Amazon accounts with tens of thousands, I think even in the low hundreds of thousands of reviews, meaning they're selling a lot of volume. And, I actually buy a lot of books from Goodwill, but I buy them from Goodwill and Amazon and resell them on Amazon because I find that a lot of the time they misprice their book. And so obviously, I might have to spend 20 or 30 bucks for a book, but if it's still worth 70 or 80, then,
yeah,
I'd still buy it, so.
And like that kind of alludes to the fact, like, even though Goodwill is like they're big Amazon sellers, a lot does still slip through the cracks. Like their employees don't care as much as you care.
Yeah.
And they probably don't have as much skill as you have. So, I mean, like nobody's to say that you can't find like good books in Goodwill. It's just probably going to be your least consistent source. I mean, actually the other day, like I wasn't doing book sourcing. I was thrifting electronics, and I found a $400 used like new Roomba in the box, selling very quickly. They priced it at $30.
That's
and
crazy.
I was able to just test it in the store. It worked fine.
That's crazy.
So like stuff definitely slips through the cracks with Goodwill.
Yep.
But like when it's something as simple as just like scanning a barcode, they probably
it's easy.
Will get it.
It's low hanging fruit. Testing, having someone like hiring someone to plug something in, make sure, press some buttons, make sure it works. Like that's a much higher skill, much more analytical skill than just scanning a barcode. And, I'd be interested to see what their metrics are for accepting. Like maybe they use Scout IQ and in the background they have Steve Rakin or they have Caleb Roth like on the background.
What the YouTubers don't tell you.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe they have them up there scanning. The other thing that I will say, Jason, is if you are thrifting for books, you have to make relationships, meaning you have to make relationships with the managers. And so at the Goodwills, especially if you're not finding anything, you gotta talk to a manager and ask like, hey, I'm here, I'm interested in books. I noticed that I'm sure a lot of the books are being sold online. I was wondering, is there any possibility that I can maybe go behind the scenes for some new books that you have coming in, and just be really nice and being really respectful. And I found in the past that when I've done that, some of the managers are like, oh yeah, sure. We get our books here on Tuesday and Thursday. Why don't you come back and you can pick through what you want first before we scan or whatever. So I think a lot of it's just talking to people and making relationships, and 99% of people are not going to do that. So, like my dad, for example, he sells only DVDs and he goes thrifting all around our place. And basically that's all he does is he knows like every manager at every Goodwill, at every thrift store. And he's just like a people person. So, he's behind the scenes. Like he almost might as well be an employee, but he's checking out before they get on the floor. So
yeah, that's a great way to do it. I guess we're kind of slamming you with tips right now, but that's what you asked for. If you like, for example, I was getting my master's and we had an apartment complex Facebook group. If you have like some kind of like apartment complex Facebook group, or like some kind of group with like a couple hundred people that like it's a community group, they like somewhat know you, or like even a friend group, or even like people that offering to do a consignment deal for people's books that they don't want. I've had good success with that as well. Especially if it's like a student setting, because these students, like most of them, like any average student, just random Joe has $300 to $1,000 worth of profit in their bookshelf. And like most of them, they're not reading anymore. So they will take $150 for doing nothing.
Yep. I agree. Also offer up Facebook Marketplace in your local area is great. I mean, I've many times picked up a book for 20 bucks and offer up, flipped it for 70, 80, 100. So it's definitely out there. So I would just say focus on, with this $500, buying stuff that's going to move fast, that has a high average selling price. I wouldn't do what I'm doing, which right now I'm buying a lot of books on Amazon to flip back on Amazon. And I would say that, my model is much slower selling. But again, I'm a teacher, so I teach chemistry from 7 a.m. till 4 p.m. So I can't, I don't really have the time during the day to go do that. I'm more limited on it, so I had to kind of shift to other ways of sourcing. But that's what I would do.
And like, Pooch, you've mentioned that you have sold video games on like old video games on eBay. Like, if you can thrift, let's say from like OfferUp, like cheap inventory somewhere to sell on eBay, like that is a game that you can actually do very well with $500.
Mhm.
Yeah, like because like stuff on eBay that you find at a garage sale for $1, you can sell for $20 after fees. Like that's like if you do all of those flips with $500, like suddenly your $500 turns into like a 2-3 grand profit a month business. That like you can actually start to get some excess and have some more money to invest into Amazon. That's
100% agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, just like Seth said, just go really hard on doing the local stuff. I would if it were me, I would do less thrift stores. I'd do more OfferUp, more Facebook Marketplace, more Craigslist. I'd do free big book pickups. I'd go to college campuses, and then I would start to get into OA. But I'd do it sustainably. I'd do it not so crazy where you're spending all your capital. I would do it where it's like you set aside, all right, I'm going to spend $400 or $500 a month on OA books, and that's it. And everything else is just going to be my normal business model. And you'll be able to slowly ramp up, and then eventually you might get to the point where it's like, man, do I really want to go drive to the college campus to pick up 3 books?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll be like, there's better things to do.
Yeah, it's like I got old school RuneScape to play. Like,
like bro, like I haven't checked my flips. It's been 9 hours. I'm starting to get antsy.
I got to do some farm runs. Like,
oh no,
I got
need to plant my papaya trees.
Yeah, exactly. So for sure, Seth, we got to talk behind the scenes, old school as well, because Cody actually let me know that you're into that. I was like, oh yeah, man, I used to play old school a lot. So
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I literally all I do is, I mean, we don't have to talk behind the scenes. We can talk here, but retention.
Retention.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But like kind of to tie it into Amazon, I mean, interesting story here. I started playing RuneScape in 7th grade, and I was way too obsessed with it. And my parents are like, nope, no more RuneScape. Like, you are way too obsessed with this. You are not allowed to play RuneScape.
Yeah.
And I was very bitter at them. And I think I held that bitterness until I left the house.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was like actually pretty like very, very into it for all college and a lot of my master's degree. And it was such a waste of time. Like, if I had been investing that, it was like 3 hours a day, like consistently, like after like getting everything done. Like if I invested that 3 hours a day into reselling from 18 to 26, I'd be retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like close to retired, or like retired as in like fire anyways.
Yeah, fire. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a total waste of time, but it's also, it was a good time. I played a good bit as well, through college and a little bit through my master's as well. Same thing. Yeah, I could have spent my money more wisely, but at the end of the day, it's all good.
It's still fun. You have to have fun as well.
You gotta have fun sometimes, but you gotta decompress in some ways. But I mean, I feel like old school RuneScape taught me a lot about buying and selling. Buy low, sell like.
Yeah. Did you flip in old school RuneScape?
Say it again.
Did you flip?
Oh yeah, I flipped all the time. I flipped when old school, I think, originally came back. There wasn't a GE, right? There wasn't a Grand Exchange, so I think they implemented that in later. So yeah, before the Grand Exchange, I'd be flipping just at World 2, just outside West Bank, Varrock, and just going hard with it. But yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons that I learned from that game in terms of buying low, selling high, demand, and all that stuff. So
it's a bunch of fun. I definitely still flip, but I use the Grand Exchange.
Yeah. It's more automated now for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But I in the regular RuneScape game for a while, I was trying to flip party hats, and like it was just like finding a buyer and finding a seller, like it was just so low volume. It's like
Yeah.
the one person, like you've been at the Grand Exchange for like 5 hours and then suddenly someone wants to buy this, like they're so expensive that like they're like $2, $3, $4,000 in real life if you were to
Yeah.
sell that gold. So
Yeah.
it's just like there's not many people, and so like suddenly one person comes and you like have to make a deal with them.
No, I know what you mean. Like, you remember the Halloween masks?
Yeah,
Back in the day when those were expensive, I remember being at. Do you know? I'm sure you know the Taverley Dungeon with his black dragons.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So
yeah.
there's one time I was there, and I think someone hit the connection lost while they were picking up their black d'hide, and they had a green Halloween mask on, and they died. So they ended up getting like a green Halloween mask. And I
Wait,
think at that time it was like worth 20 mil. So it was like my
oh my
recent
gosh.
highlight.
Wait, so why didn't they protect item? Because they keep 3 items.
I have no idea.
He had like the blue and the red and a Santa hat in his inventory as well.
No, I
So he
mean, so this
lost
was
the
way
green.
back in the day. This isn't even old. This isn't like the.
This is a long time ago.
This has got to be like in the early 2000s, like maybe. Yeah, I wasn't that old. Early 2000s when this happened. I
Highlight
don't.
of Joji's 11-year-old's year.
Yeah, see, that's the flip of the. That was the flip of flip of the
Flip of
year.
the century. 20 mil. 20 mil was a lot back then.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and we in hindsight we made the worst. I made the worst deal for it. I ended up trading it. I guess what I should say is that maybe when I got it, it wasn't quite worth that much. It was maybe a few mil. No, I want to say maybe it was worth maybe it was worth 9 mil. But at that time, I think the dragon chain body came out, and that thing was like hell expensive. And I think we traded for a dragon chain body and like a D square shield or something. Worst trade ever. But
like it was the same. It was a similar value, but then they were
yeah.
new release items. So like 5 days later, they halved.
Yeah, like a year later, I think D chain body was. Yeah. Anyways, it's super dirt cheap now, but
Yeah.
But at the time, it was equal value. But obviously, one was a collectible that goes up in value. Another one was something that was only going down in value.
Arbitrage. Buy low, sell high,
Yeah.
put money into assets.
Yes, exactly. Not
We got
liability.
Boulevard Pooch saying, thank you for the amazing information. I'm stepping out of this comfort zone. I got to get better with talking to people. I do live near a college called Mary Washington in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I could not say that.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully it helps to know that like Joji's dad like has had good success asking for backroom access. Mm-hmm. Joji's had success doing that. Mm-hmm. I found that I've had my best success like if I go to like a mom and pop thrift store and I ask there, I have a higher success rate. Also, if it's like a place like that or like a library that has a book sale, like asking them like, hey, like what day of the week do you guys put out books? I like to look at the fresh books. I probably don't word it like that. Find a better way to
fresh inventory.
Fresh inventory. But basically, I have a library here that like they've put books out on Tuesday, and I was able to just go on Tuesday and source $100 to $200 profit every single time, like very, very consistently. So awesome. You can find stuff like that, and that's very helpful.
Yeah, first thing I would do, Jason, right now is I would type in Mary Washington, Fredericksburg, Virginia, textbook exchange or something. I try to find the Facebook group. There's got to be one. It might not even be a textbook exchange. It might be a free and for sale group, but I would go there. I would also probably just go to campus and see if their bookstore has anything on clearance because, like I said, I went to UC San Diego, and they had a bookstore. They had literally like 2 carts of clearance books, and I would just go scan there and they'd be like, oh, here's a $20 book that sells for $100 on Amazon. So I found a lot of success even at the bookstore when their clearance section. So I'd go check that out as well. But I'm sure they got a
good tip. I've never heard that tip actually.
The campus bookstore?
Yeah, with the clearance, I've never thought like, oh, the bookstore has clearance.
Yeah,
I was always in college, so I never thought of like clearance RA, like just like get my textbook and like leave.
Yeah, I mean, I was selling books at the time, and I just stumbled upon. I was like, "There's a clearance section. I'm like, aren't these books worth anything?" And then there's the Amazon Seller Central app. I didn't have a barcode scanner. I mean, it was only like a couple hundred books I think they had, but the acceptance rate was maybe like 10% or something. But like
That's
I said,
sick.
they would price books for $20. They'd just get rid of them, and they're selling for 80, $100 on Amazon. This was also the time where you could, I don't know if you remember, you can get a gift card from Amazon, like how you
Yeah.
could sell it back to Amazon. I
Yeah.
don't know who they partnered with, but I remember walking in with a friend going like, dude, yeah, like you should start selling books on Amazon. He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, scan this book right here on Amazon. He scans it, and I think they wanted like $20 for it. I'm like, dude, sell it back to Amazon for $67 and get a gift card. And anyways, he never ended up doing anything with it, but yeah, that's also out there.
Yeah, Amazon's a crazy platform. Like you can make a
Yeah.
lot of money with it.
Yeah. And Jason, I don't know if that college will have, a textbook group, or if your bookstore will have a clearance section, but that's just my experience. But could be different there.
Yeah. I sold used clothes and used shoes for around a year and a half, I think, before I did any Amazon at all.
All on eBay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I was thinking like, oh yeah, Amazon, but I don't know. The apparel used for Amazon is not really super on point. I've actually seen used listings for shoes on Amazon.
Really? I didn't even know that you could sell used clothing on Amazon.
I think shoes you can.
Shoes.
But like it's vastly the minority, and
yeah,
you're probably taking your regular 10% return rate for apparel and turning it into like a 40% return rate, because people get really confused when it's usually a new item and then there's like that one used item. They like buy the cheapest one and they don't look at the condition.
Yeah, or they think that it should come to them new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed from experience that most Amazon sellers or most Amazon customers, I think, are not very savvy with shopping around for the best deal, because I sell books all the time for double or triple the lowest used price, just because I'm a prime offer.
That's so silly.
It's crazy. Like textbook season is insane. Like there'll be books that are selling for $60 and then you'll sell for 120. Like it's like what? Like why? But
I mean, like that extra 5 days, like not having your textbook for the first 2 weeks of class, like it's just how it goes when you're not prepared.
Yeah, it pays to be prepared, and it also hurts to not be prepared, right? You get penalized for it for sure. But
I mean, you're providing a service for them because like they'll get their book on time.
Yeah, there you go. Which is interesting because in my experience going to college, I don't know what your experience was, but generally you never really needed to have it. Like if you didn't have it, like you go to the library and there's like a free copy available that you might have to wait for it, but it's not like, in my opinion, it wasn't worth spending $60 extra to get it. But
it's your parents' money.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes it's actually not even their parents' money. Sometimes it's the money from, it's a grant. It's grant money. It's free money, or it could be scholarship money, or maybe it is just student loan debt that, unfortunately, maybe if you're 18 years old, you don't realize the consequence of spending money that's not yours, and then being shackled with that debt for a long time. But
normalized debt, basically.
Normalized debt, yeah, exactly, man.
A bunch of fun.
Yeah, that man.
Well, on that sad note, we're going to go ahead and end it. Thank you guys so much for coming. Boulevard Pooch, good to talk to you. Andrew, good to talk to you. Thank you guys for showing up. And Joji, thanks for coming on. This was fun.
Yeah,
we should do this again.
For sure, man.
We should do it again when Cody's here as well. I realized last second he sent me a message on Thursday saying, what is it? Like I'll be available Monday again. So I don't know why I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
We got Boulevard Pooch saying, I know you guys said to message you on Instagram, which I will. How do you feel about a Discord server? Oh man, it's over. Thanks for the information. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. I've basically been considering making either a Facebook group or Discord server. I need to try and poll the audience and see like which one people prefer. I think I'm relatively uncomfortable on both, but I can learn them. I think I've used Discord for other things sometimes, so I think I would lean towards Discord. But
Yeah, I have one specifically for books called Joji's Book Flippers, and I have it
Mm,
linked on my YouTube channel. If you go to the description of one of my YouTube videos, you'll see it
yeah.
there. But it's specifically for books, so um, only people I guess who are selling books and are interested would have joined it and been in there. It's also really
Yeah,
neat. I think
or just people who are just interested in like hanging out and talking and like
yeah,
bouncing ideas off of each other. So I'm sure it's good for that as well.
yeah. So there's also that. But
I
yeah,
think
Steph, it's been a pleasure.
yeah. Thanks for coming on. Hope you have a good rest of your night and have a good one, guys. Take care.
Peace.